Hello, my name is Ryan, and this is going to be my first video in a new series of NBA team previews for the 2018-2019 season. This video is going to be a gauge to learn new techniques and check my timing, so it will only be getting better from here. I am utilizing my old YouTube channel for these videos, but I will essentially be starting from scratch with this channel. I am deleting a majority of my older videos and going to be creating different content with more effort put into them than in the past. Anyways, let's get going. I am going to be honest. This video is going to have a lot of bias involved in my rating of the team. Although I live in Houston currently, I was born in a suburb of Boston, so the Celtics are my favorite team. So take this rating with a grain of salt, because bias might creep into it. With that being said, I think most people will agree that the Celtics are extremely strong, and in my opinion, one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, with the 76ers, Raptors, and Bucks. Their coaching is very strong. Brad Stevens was a strong contender for Coach of the Year, and had been improving the Celtics every year and doesn't look like he will be stopping. On the defensive side of the ball, this team should be improving. Gaining the defensive strength back from Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown having another year under Brad Stevens, and Marcus Smart returning will be great for their already stellar defense. Offensively, this team is extremely strong as well, with scorers all over the court from Irving and Rozier at the point guard to Horford and Baines as big men. I want to focus on some of the lineup and see how I predict this team to run their rotation in starting lineup. Starting off with the starting five, I am actually going to discuss two different starting lineups that I expect to see throughout the season. One of these lineups will be small ball, with more athletes such as Jaylen Brown starting. This lineup will have Kyrie Irving at the point guard, Jaylen Brown, Hayward, and Tatum all playing as wings, with Al Horford as the solo big. The other will be a larger, more traditional lineup with Aaron Baines starting at the 5, and Brown coming off the bench as a sixth man. The lineup would be Kyrie Irving at the point as well, Hayward and Tatum playing wings, Horford as the 4, and Baines starting at center. Even if this lineup isn't going to be starting as many games as the first lineup, I expect to see this style of lineup at some point of every game the Celtics play. I see Kyrie Irving playing the same role in both of these lineups, as obviously the main ball handler and likely to be taking the most shots as well. He will see a slightly reduced role due to the standout performances of the young Celtics on the roster and the return of Gordon Hayward from injury. He will likely be the number one option, but with his usage rate, he won't be a favorite for MVP in my opinion. Next up to discuss is Jaylen Brown. Like I said, he will be in the starting lineup for what I expect to be a majority of games. He is probably going to be the fourth scoring option on this starting lineup, but could likely be leading a bench squad for any games where he does not start. Jaylen Brown has really shined in games in the playoffs, and has proven to be clutch in close games with 3 game-winning shots last season. Gordon Hayward is the biggest question mark on the team. Coming off of his gruesome injury in the first game of last season, we do not know what to expect from Gordon Hayward. If he does return to his full strength, him and Jason Tatum will make for an unguardable duo of forwards, and Hayward will likely be the second option behind Kyrie. If Tatum improves like many expect him to do after his playoff performance, I expect him to be the third option on this team. I see Tatum scoring anywhere from 16 to 18 points a game, as his shooting volume will increase this season. Last on the main starting lineup is Al Horford. Horford is going to continue to play a huge role for this team, doing anything from locking down the paint on the defensive end to hitting fadeaway jumpers like he does so well. He likely won't be getting too many shots this season with so much scoring up and down this roster, but his stats do not show his value to this franchise. As mentioned before, I expect to see games where Aaron Baines will be on the starting lineup, for days where a bigger lineup is the answer to matchups, or for possible rest days of other starters. Aaron Baines made his name as a solid defender last season, and a good rebounder as well, which they will need with this roster. Looking at the bench in the guard positions is Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, Jabari Bird, and newcomer Brad Wanamaker. Smart is a well-known commodity. He is a great defender and a great hustler on both sides of the ball. If Smart can improve his shooting, then he will be a huge star in this league, but most likely he will continue to have the stats of a poor player, but do all of the things that a winning team needs. Terry Rozier will likely see an increased role from last regular season, but decreased role from his overall solid playoff performance. Rozier will likely be another spark off the bench that can be put out and take a high volume of shots with a bench unit. Rozier has been at the center of trade rumors all off-season, and I would not be surprised to see if the Celtics trade him, considering this is his last season under contract, and the Celtics are unlikely to want to pay him if they want to remain under the luxury tax next season. Brad Wanamaker is coming back to the United States after his time in the Euro League, having his most recent season on the runner-up team in that league, losing to Real Madrid, Luka Doncic's team in the final. Wanamaker is likely to not see too much playing time apart from garbage time if everyone stays healthy. Jabari Bird sits in the same position as Wanamaker. He was given a new contract this offseason by the Celtics with the hope that he will continue to develop. With the forwards coming off the bench, we have Marcus Morris and Semi Ojeleye. Marcus Morris will be the first forward coming off the bench to back up Tatum and Hayward. He showed a lot of skill and energy in his time last season, and is known for getting very fired up at times, almost to the point of being annoying to other players. But besides that, he was a good scorer when he needed to be one, and he was able to lock down many great offensive players on the other end. Semi Ojeleye I expect to see in more than just garbage time this upcoming season. I see him getting time in the second quarter when Tatum, Hayward, and Brown might be resting. Being given another year to develop, we might see great moments for Ojeleye this upcoming season. The big men coming off the bench are Robert Williams, Daniel Tice, and Guerschon Yabusele. Daniel Tice was another key injury that not many people remember from this past postseason. The loss of Tice last season made Boston's big men depth weak, and is a large reason why their only draft pick went to drafting Robert Williams. Tice does a great job of being the anchor in the bench unit, or playing with the starters whenever Aaron Baines needed rest last season. Robert Williams I hope to see play a good amount of minutes next season. After a couple of solid seasons at Texas A&M, he has promised to be a solid addition to their rotation. Being projected as a lottery pick in the weeks leading up to the draft, but falling all the way to 27 for the Celtics to pick was very surprising, and I am hoping the Celtics can develop him well, because he could replace Al Horford, as he is not getting any younger. Yabusele, I do not expect to have too many minutes outside of garbage time, just like Jabari Bird and Brad Wanamaker, but for only expecting to get those type of minutes, he is a great player to have in that role, just in case injuries require his role to increase. Now, getting to how I think the team will perform as a whole. Westgate has the Celtics over-under on the season's win totals as 57.5. I expect the Celtics to surpass this if all of their players remain healthy, as they were able to nearly reach this total, missing their second star last season and having their first option injured half of the season before sitting out the remainder of its games. In the playoffs, coming out as the first seed, I expect the Celtics to face the 76ers in the Eastern Finals, where they would beat them in 6 games to reach the finals, where they will likely face the Golden State Warriors. I think that even without DeMarcus Cousins returning to his former strength, that the Warriors would be favorites in 6 games against Boston, and if Boogie is able to return as strong as he once was, I would be happy for the Celtics to take a game against the Juggernaut. So that is it for my preview of the Celtics 2018-2019 season. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you stayed to the end, please leave a like and comment some constructive criticism or discussion about my opinion. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel, as I will be making more NBA content, and the next team preview will be over the Suns, with the Rockets and Bulls following that one. Once again, thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.